we're intelligent people, and your brain's going, just stop. If you stop, the pain goes away.
You can put away your fears and go for broke.
I think, when you look back on your career, and it's hard to remember, but I always think back to the first running event I ever went to. My next door neighbour was in a club here, cross-country running. I went out and ran in that race, and I just felt so comfortable in that environment. I don't really remember much about the race. Apparently I ran okay, but I just felt that environment was so welcoming, that this was something I realised that I think, gee, wow, I love this, and I look forward to doing this for a very long time. I went to the Commonwealth Games in 1986. I was lucky to get in the team, and I went as a 10,000 metre runner, and my coach Chris Wardlaw a few months before saw that there was a vacancy in the men's marathon team. We only had two, Grenville Wood and Rob De Castella. Chris rang me and said, oh look, if I talk to Athletics Australia, as it was then, and see if we can get you a spot in the marathon, would you be keen? And I thought, oh, you're the coach, if you think that'd be a good idea, I'm happy to have a go at that. So I ran the 10K on the Saturday night and finished in 5th place, ran pretty well, and I sort of thought, oh, that's all done, and now I've got this event in 6 days' time called the marathon. I'd never ran that far before in my life, and Chris just said, oh, use it as a bit of experience, you're going to be a marathon runner eventually, just get in there and see how it goes. And I remember in the call room before the race, it was the first event on the Friday morning, I remember sort of hanging around in the call room with Deke and a few other famous marathon runners thinking, gee, I hope this goes okay, or what I've planned for the next 20 years is not going to roll out. Unfortunately, it ended up really well. I won a bronze medal. Deke won the men's race, Lisa Ondieki won the women's, and I was third. So this new kid coming through, it was just a great day. And for me to have such success and realise that the marathon, this event that I'd focused on all my life, was something I was going to be able to be good at or achieve at was really important and satisfying. I'd sort of planned that I was going to be a marathon runner, and I always wanted to go to the Olympics, and the longest running event at the Olympic Games is the marathon. So I thought, well, that's the event for me. But the public didn't know that, and it was interesting. I kind of left Australia for the Commonwealth Games as this unknown kid from somewhere in regional Victoria, a place called Ballarat no one really knew. But I came home having ran so well. Suddenly people were going, wow, Deke's the best in the world, and you're this new person who's going to be able to, follow in his footsteps. So there was a real awareness then when I came home, and not an expectation, but just great support, certainly from the Ballarat community and just the running community, because they realised that, this succession, this continuity of having some successful distance runners was, and I was going to play an important part in that. So Commonwealth Games was that first marathon was significant, and then 4 years later I went to Auckland, and I was one of the best marathon runners in the world then, and had a really good race, but I got beaten by Douglas Wakahuri, a Kenyan who'd won the World Championships and silver at the Olympic Games. So I was disappointed to finish second, and it took me 8 years, so my third Commonwealth Games was in Victoria in Canada, and there was some expectation that I was probably the favourite to win that race, so all I had to do was execute a good race.
He acknowledges the crowd. A first championship victory ever for Steve Moneghetti. A cherished goal is realised for the Ballarat Bullet.
It's not a 100-metre sprint where, it's over in a flash. I knew I was clearly away and I was feeling pretty good, so I really could absorb that last few minutes, and people who had supported me on the journey for so many years, to finally be there to see that victory. And having come through the bronze medal in 86, the silver in 1990, it's not luck then. You realise you've worked very hard, and so, you appreciate the moment a lot more. The thing about a marathon is it's not over in a short space of time. You're out there for over 2 hours, or a couple of runners are under 2 hours now, but for me, over 2 hours, and you're pushing yourself to the limit. You sort of got to pace yourself a bit, but in the latter part of a marathon, it really becomes a personal drive, and whilst you might look pretty relaxed on the outside and you look like you're focusing on the runners around you, and of course internally your body is just screaming at you with this fatigue and this pain. And you know, we're intelligent people, and your brain's going, just stop. If you stop, the pain goes away. So you have to have this internal battle where you're just fighting against that ability to make a good decision and stop, the pain goes away. So you need to call in things like, you know, you've trained all your life to be in this position, and it's only 15 minutes of pain for a lifetime of stories or glory. So that's what you learn about yourself, is that whilst the easy thing is to stop, you can push harder than you think. Yeah, running, it's interesting. People say, you know, oh, you ran, what are you doing now? And for me, it was a pretty simple transition. You know, I retired at the Sydney Olympic Games in 2000. I'd had a really long career, 15-year career. I was a teacher, engineer, civil engineer, and I thought I'd be going back to those jobs, and gladly so. I quite happily, I spent a bit of time teaching, and I was only an engineer for a year, but that career path served me well, and I thought, I've retired now, I'll settle back into normal life. But I was still running pretty well, so I got invited to events, and I was still sort of not just being at the showcase of the event or the ambassador. I was actually still running in the events, and I was winning a few, and they go, oh, wow, we didn't realise, you know, not only have we got you here, but you know, we love having you here because you bring so much, you know, you race well, you can talk to people, and you're inspiring to people. So I got invited to go to lots of events around Australia, and then I sort of moved into sports administration. I was the chairman of the Victorian Institute of Sport only 1 year after I retired. So, you know, someone saw that I'd have some value to give back, and it's kind of just rolled on from there. And, you know, I'm on boards and been on Sports Commission, I'm on Commonwealth Games Australia board and Australian Athletics board, Sydney Marathon. So I go to lots of events and stay involved in athletics, and I still run, you know, most days, and I'm injured more than I'm running, but when I run, you know, I really love going to events and participating, and I feel like I'm, you know, doing what I was born to do. Way back in 1976 when I ran that first event out at Lake Burrumbeet, I felt like, you know, I was born to run, and whilst I'm still kicking, I'm still going to run every day if I possibly can.